Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something I think, well, everyone deals with. How to gracefully get out of awkward small talk.
Yes, that moment when you're stuck.
Exactly. And our source material for this comes from an episode called How to Exit Awkward Small Talk Like a Spy. Intriguing title.
It is. And our mission today, really, is to equip you, the listener, with some, practical techniques for those times when you're hearing maybe a bit too much about someone's stamp collection
Or garden gnomes, perhaps.
or garden gnomes, yeah.
Hmm.
And you just need a smooth getaway. We'll look at the hidden meanings behind common exit lines and a whole range of escape tactics.
Okay, let's get into it. The source lays out this escape artist's toolkit. I like that framing. And it breaks it down into three levels of departure.
That's right. 3 levels.
So level one is the polite bail. These are like your first attempts, the softer ones.
Yeah, exactly. The initial, less direct ways to signal you want out. Kind of testing the waters.
Okay, click what?
Well, saying something like, I know you're busy, the implication, of course.
Is that I'm busy. Busy leaving.
Precisely. It's phrased as consideration for them, but it's really about your need to disengage. A little bit of social code there.
And the other classic, don't let me keep you.
Oh, yes. Which, let's be honest, often means...
You are definitely keeping me. Please stop.
Exactly. You're holding me conversational hostage. It sounds nice, but the real message is pretty clear if you think about it.
But these rely on the other person picking up the hint, right?
They do. It's a gentle nudge. But sometimes, hints aren't enough.
Which brings us to level two, the strategic redirect. So this is more active.
A bit more active, yes.
Yeah.
You're starting to shift the focus, create a little opening for your exit, like building an off-ramp.
Okay, example.
The source gives, that reminds me, I promised to. And, often the thing it reminds you of has absolutely nothing to do with the current topic.
Huh, right. Your story about paint drying reminds me, I promised to check on my sourdough starter.
Exactly. It just creates a reason, a plausible deniability for why you suddenly need to be somewhere else or do something else.
And the other one mentioned is before I forget.
Yes. Before I forget. Which really signals, I am not going to forget that I need to leave this conversation.
It injects a sort of fake urgency.
It does. And it makes the departure seem less about rejecting the conversation and more about attending to this, other pressing thing, even if it's entirely made up.
Makes sense. So what happens when even that doesn't work? When the person just isn't getting it?
Ah. Well, then you might need to escalate to level 3, the nuclear option.
Sounds serious.
These are the, let's say, less subtle maneuvers, definitely used as a last resort kind of things, when politeness has failed.
Okay, like what? Break glass in case of emergency?
Sort of. The source mentions glancing away and saying, oh, is that Sarah waving at me? Even if Sarah isn't there or isn't waving.
Creates an instant external interruption.
Right. Or the old reliable, oh, my phone just buzzed.
Even if it's been completely silent on the table.
Exactly. Instant excuse to look away, check something, and potentially, just keep walking.
These feel a bit more abrupt.
They are. They prioritize the exit over maybe saving face quite as much. You're banking on the other person, just accepting the sudden interruption.
Okay, so we've got the words, the phrases,
Ex-
but the source also talked about nonverbal stuff, right? The pro-disengagement techniques.
Yes, the physical strategies. These are quite interesting. There's the slow back away.
How does that work? You just drift.
Pretty much. The idea is every time the other person pauses or takes a breath, you take a small step back.
Oh, so...
Hopefully subtly. Apparently it works best if you're already kind of near a doorway or an exit route.
So you're gradually increasing the distance until escape velocity is achieved.
Something like that. Then there's the beverage fake out.
Ah, the classic need to refill this.
Exactly. Announce you need another drink, maybe with a bit too much enthusiasm, and then vanish.
Towards the bar or the
Yeah.
kitchen or just...
Just away. It's socially acceptable, needing a drink, so it gives you cover to leave the immediate vicinity, maybe permanently.
Clever. And the timepiece trick.
Right. The dramatic look at the watch, or even just your wrist if you don't wear one, followed by a gasp.
Goodness, is that the time?
Precisely. It creates that sudden, urgent awareness of time passing, implies you have somewhere else to be.
Even if you have nowhere else to be.
Especially then. And a pro tip mentioned was always carrying an empty glass at a party.
Why?
Instant prop. It gives you an immediate excuse to use the beverage fake out whenever needed. You're always ready to go get a refill.
That's actually quite smart. Resourceful.
Isn't it?
Now, you mentioned earlier how things can differ. The source touches on cultural exit strategies, too.
It does, yeah. It shows these unspoken rules aren't the same everywhere.
So in the U.S.
In the U.S., saying, well, I should mingle, is often code.
Code for?
I'm done talking to you specifically, I'm moving on. It's a polite way to end it.
Okay.
And in the UK, the British equivalent might be something like, I'll go circulate. Similar idea, maybe sounds a little less direct.
Circulate, like you're just going to drift around the room.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And then there's the Australian example they gave, which was quite something.
Oh, what was it?
They're to go punch a dolphin.
Wait, what? Seriously?
Apparently used humorously as a very clear, if absurd, way to say goodbye forever.
Okay, well, that's certainly memorable. Definitely gets the point across, I suppose.
You wouldn't be left wondering.
No kidding. The source we looked at also had listener stories, right? Real-world examples.
Yes, insights and challenges. And some were quite funny because they show how these things can go wrong.
Like the parking meter excuse.
Oh, yeah. Someone used the, my parking meter's about to expire line at a wedding.
Okay.
They'd taken an Uber.
Right. Minor detail. Didn't quite work then.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Then there's a listener hack.
A hack.
Yeah. Someone said they memorized one fake appointment before any social event. Just have it ready.
Like what?
Dentist visits were apparently a reliable, unquestioned go-to.
Huh. Always having an escape route planned. That's strategic.
Very proactive social navigation.
And there was a challenge for listeners, too.
There was. Encouraging people to try these out. Like 1, spot someone using the I'll let you go polite bail.
Just observe it in the wild.
Exactly. 2, test the need another drink, fake out, but actually have a plan for where you'll disappear to. Don't just stand there awkwardly by the drinks table.
Good point. And the third one?
Try the oven excuse, like, oh, I think I left the oven on, even if, you mostly use a microwave.
That feels risky. What if they ask what you were cooking?
I suppose that's part of the challenge. High-stakes disengagement.
And finally, there was a warning. A cautionary tale.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
About believability.
Huh.
Someone tried to flee a conversation by claiming, my cat learned to text.
Okay. Creative, I guess.
Maybe too creative. Apparently it fell completely flat, especially since the person didn't actually own a cat.
Right. That would probably undermine the excuse somewhat. Stick to plausible deniability.
Probably wise.
Yeah.
A texting cat might be a bridge too far from most situations.
So hopefully this whole deep dive gives you, our listeners, a better toolkit. A way to handle those moments with a bit more finesse.
Maybe even like that spy in the title. Smooth, efficient.
Think about the signals, the unspoken stuff in your own chats. What exit lines have you heard? Or, let's be honest, maybe used yourself?
It's interesting to notice once you start paying attention, isn't it? The little dance we all do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thinking ahead, our next deep dive gets into something related. The art of looking interested.
Even when you're absolutely not.
Right. Because sometimes just nodding and saying, wow, cool, isn't quite convincing enough, is it?
Not quite. That'll be another useful skill set to explore.